morning, everybody. What a glorious day we have in New Zealand today. What a place to go racing, a spectacular part of the planet. Third round of the Repco Supercars Championship. 3 races this weekend, 8, 9 and 10 in the championship sequence of 34 races in 2025. This is the first part of a very big story this weekend. We've got back-to-back qualifying. All 24 cars go out, brief break, and we eliminate a group of cars and end up with 10 cars in the final portion of qualifying. They'll do that on the Dunlop soft tyre. Quick turnaround time, then they'll go out on the Dunlop super soft tyre, and here they are rolling onto screen, and the graphic shows you the deal. And they'll go out on an entirely different compound tyre that's softer, potentially faster, but there's a question mark around that. They wear a little bit more, but they change the behaviour of the car. So this session is on that tyre. What a challenge it is as we ride here with Brock Feeney into the right-hander at turn 5. And we've seen people off the road yesterday overstepping the mark. It's so easy to make a mistake here. Little brake bias change in that car, and you can see all the variations in terms of the surface. Out of there in second gear, managing the potential for wheel spin. This long left-hander through 8, and then all of a sudden you flick a tonne and a half to the right, and it's so easy to end up running wide here on that slightly extended curve at turn 9. A chance to relax and think about now where you break into this turn 11 hairpin. Cam Waters was the fastest man through that part of the racetrack yesterday.
So at the moment, Brodie Kostecki has done the fastest first sector. We're looking on board now for the braking point for Brock Feeney, 245 kilometres an hour. You can see all those surface changes as he approaches this complex final portion of the lap. Left,
30 seconds.
Right, holds it to the right to compromise slightly to get the exit for the final left-hander, and out he comes, and he goes to P2 with a 26.26, only 0.05 away from Kostecki.
So your timing is going to erupt here, folks. The totem on the left side of screen is going to jump all over the place. Waters jumps up into position number 2. Randall moves up into 3rd. He's been displaced by Chaz Mostyn. Kostecki's still got the lead, but no, Ryan Wood jumps back with a 5.9 and repeats what he did yesterday. So 0.2 of a second, Brodie comes back and punches one back in at a 25.7. It is Brodie Kostecki who's finding his rhythm in this outfit for 2025, followed by Wood, followed by Davis and Strong here last year. Matty Payne, the Kiwis are going to go off. 25.7, and the margin's insane. 0.007 in favour of Payne. Payne, Kostecki, Wood, Di Pasquale, Cooper, Murray on fire, position number 5.
What a great lap, Matt Payne. 25.70 is the fastest lap ever at Taupō in a supercar, and he was able to optimise that performance so well. Fastest first sector for him.
Worst drive today, exit of 11.
And he's complaining about the drive, exit out of 11. So look out if he makes that better, but what a beautiful job there. 25.70 for Payne.
Laps are still being completed, so don't put the glasses down just yet, but what a stunning number here for Matt Payne. And to get through by literally a fingernail width over Brodie Kostecki. Let's see what Brodie can do here. Said earlier in the pre-season conversations that it'll take Brodie a moment or two to come to terms with how to get the most out of this car. I spoke to him at Sydney Motorsport Park last week at another event, just about the nuances and the differences between the two brands and the way they behave. And he said it has taken a moment to get his mind around it, but he's going to be a threat, no question, as Cam Waters jumps it up now into position number 3. Nice work.
Yeah, it's a good lap, very good lap. So Ryan Wood, who had that drama on his opening run, still to complete his lap, so he's out there now, and he's about 4/10 away, so it hasn't been the perfect run in the middle sector for Ryan Wood on this lap. So Cam Waters has put his best sectors together to be 3rd. Ryan Wood now finishing off this lap, gets it turned, uses a lot of the inside curb, tries to minimise the wheel spin coming out, and that number is a 26.02, so it's 0.3 of a second away from the number before, and that was completely compromised by the mistake on the brand new tyre to begin with. So unfortunate for the young Kiwi, but for this young Kiwi, a pole position for Matt Payne. Great job.
Yeah, and a very low heart rate way to celebrate it. Race drivers respond to grip. Softer tyres generally have more of it, but this is a particularly stressful racing circuit on tyres. And so it's going to demand an awful lot of this tyre. You do not know what you've got. So those that have got their heightened senses well and truly tuned up today and have slept well and are confident and happy and can feel their race car in the seat of their pants and off the tips of their fingers and can maximise after you get that sense of load and grip in the first couple of corners, they might, big question mark, be able to do the job. Keeping a close eye here on Heimgartner. By virtue of a quick stop to get him onto another set of tyres, they've jumped out in front of the rest of the queue. Payne's out of his car inside Penrite Racing. Kostecki, Payne, Mostert, they're staying in the lane. Others are rolling the dice for the next part of it. This is a battle to try and make it into the top 10 in order to progress to the second part of qualifying for the 9th race of the championship season, which will be the second race that you see on air later today. Now, Thomas Randall's gone quicker in Sector 1 than anybody by a decent little chunk here. And Heimgartner is about 2/10 away from Randall in that first sector to get a reference.
And Cam Waters has just gone again too, so he's about 1.5 away from his teammate Randall. So Waters, a lot of pressure on at the moment. He's currently 24th. He needs to be able to get that car into the 10. Randall's on a good lap. Now Waters has actually done the fastest cumulative number of everybody. And as I said that, Will Davison's knocked that number off. So Will Davison's done a nice job here. He's currently 4th. So what does Andre do? Gets out of there well, uses all the exit curve, and Heimgartner comes up 5 spots into 4th. We're going to see this tumble. There's going to be a lot of movement here. Will Brown up to 3rd.
Keep an eye on Waters in recovery here, who's just jumped up into position number 4. Thomas Randall eclipses him. He's gone to position 3. The key here is making it into the 10. Will Davison, who did a brilliant job here last year, does a 6.2. He's got a 1/10 of a second over his teammate. He's well adapted to this racetrack. So it's Davison, Kostecki, Payne, Randall, 1-4 Mustang at the moment. Brown, then Waters, Allen. Mostert, Di Pasquale just squeaks into position number 9. Heimgartner's right on the fringe in position 10. Ryan Wood, who's in the 3rd sector of the racetrack, is 11th. Here he is getting to the flag. Is it going to be enough? No. 26.8. That was the lap. He's not in.
This is going to be tight for Feeney. This is going to be very tight.
He's 12th at the moment, Mark.
And he makes the exit and he gets in. Comes up 4 spots up to 8th. But I think there's going to be a lot of compromised cars here because for the next piece, you've only got 2 sets of tyres. So for the next piece of what you're calling 9.2 qualifying, some will not have green tyres to do that.
Don't worry, folks. We're going to email you a spreadsheet to keep up with this.
It's like that, isn't it? So Will Davison, very nice job. So the 2 Shell V-Power Mustangs with the differing livery this weekend.
He'll be cranky with himself for that. All right, we're jumping on board here with Brodie Kostecki. He's coming up into the braking area in the final complex at turn 12 here as well. As Mark pointed out, he's got great speed going on here, and he almost ends up running slightly wide in the right-hand portion of that through 13 as well. And in fact, he drops it off the right-hand side coming out of the final corner. So it got ropey at the back end then.
It did, and it, I think, may have made contact with the tyre bundle when he did get that little bit of oversteer going. Right there, I reckon he was battling to get it stopped. Here's Payne. So 26.34, 26.83. So that's a considerable margin away from Kostecki.
At the moment, they're making 3.
So that's a long way away from the number that I thought they might do.
I'll see if they run. Good job.
And obviously everybody waiting now for Mostert with a fresh tyre.
Rear had really bad rear grip.
We've got some challenges again, unfortunately, also with timing, folks. I do have to apologise. So we're going to try and get on top of that. It's the reason why we don't have any of the detail on the left-hand side of the screen. So we'll let the boys do their thing out there. We're winding down to a point where we're nearly 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Bit of wheel spin there for Chaz Mostert. The onboards are great round here because you get an idea of just how frantic, just how busy, and what a demand on technique it is around here to think your way through how to maximise the behaviour of the car and the tyre, particularly at this racetrack, turn 9. Big change to it in 2025, and there's that extra little bit of road on the outside that they're exploiting. Will Brown and Brock Feeney have come back into the lane. A couple of little bumps in the seams across the road there as well. The track itself is relatively smooth, but in some of the joins, you can see it just upsets the car, and that could be part of the story with what happened with Cam Waters down here in the braking area and the approach to turn 12.
So Kostecki is the fastest car at the moment with a 26.34. And the number that Chaz has done is not far away from that. Slightly down in the first sector, a little bit away as he comes up now with a 26.41. So he's less than a tenth away, only 7/100ths of a second away, Mostert. So that's a nice job by Chaz. Brock Feeney, remember with that drama down here, we saw in the previous sessions, Cam Waters locked twice and went off. And then with Brock Feeney that time, he got a turn for the left-hander, but he was carrying too much pace. Watch this. So he gets to the right-hander and he just can't get it stopped to keep it to the right-hand side, because remember the last corner is a left-hander, so you have to compromise the turn in slightly to be able to do that. And at the end of the day, he was not able to keep that car online, ended up off the road slightly, and this was a big slide. That actually would have cost Brodie a little bit of time right there at the end.
So I think what you heard was gravel.
Yep.
Rather than making the contact. Here it is again on replay.
Watch the oversteer, watch this.
She went sprint car on him at the back end of it and throwing rocks in that right rear corner, George Commons. So that's what's currently going on. Kostecki, Mostert, Feeney, Davison, Brown, Waters. And Anton down there in 9th position. And so with the two highlighted cars there, we know that we're inside the garage at Grove Racing at Penrite. So a somewhat muted way to celebrate this in the end, but well done, Brodie. That's a big moment for him. Hearty congratulations, and that's a fantastic performance.